Some days begin like any other. You wake up thinking nothing important will happen. Daniel woke up late that morning. Not dramatically late, just 5 minutes behind schedule. Enough to make him rush. Enough to make him irritated at himself. He skipped breakfast, threw on yesterday's jacket, and grabbed his phone as he ran out the door. His flight was at 8:30 a.m. He had taken this same route to the airport dozens of times before. Nothing about the day felt special, and that's what made it dangerous.
It only takes one small delay for everything to change. Traffic was heavier than usual. A delivery truck blocked one lane. A red light stayed red just a little too long. Daniel checked the time again and again, his fingers tapping nervously against the steering wheel. He calculated it in his head, how fast he could park, how quickly he could pass security. When he finally ran through the airport doors, his heart sank. The gate was already closed. The screen flashed the words he didn't want to see. Boarding complete.
He argued, he pleaded, but rules don't care about intentions. Daniel tried everything. He explained that he was only 5 minutes late, that he had checked in online, that he had no luggage to check. The gate agent shook her head, calm and unmoved. "I'm sorry, sir, the door is closed." 5 minutes. That was all it took to miss the flight. Daniel stood there, staring through the glass as the plane pulled away from the gate. At the time, it felt like the worst luck of his life. He cursed under his breath, texted his boss with an apology, sat down on a cold metal chair and buried his face in his hands. That meeting mattered. That flight mattered. He felt embarrassed, angry, defeated. He had no idea that those 5 minutes were about to save his life. The news arrived quietly, like it didn't want to be noticed. An hour later, Daniel's phone buzzed. Then again. Messages from friends, from coworkers, from people he hadn't spoken to in years. One message stood out. "Are you okay?" Confusion came before fear. Daniel frowned. "Yeah, why wouldn't I be?" he replied. There was a pause. Then a new message appeared. "Your flight, it crashed." Time stopped making sense. Daniel stared at the screen. He refreshed the news app once, twice. The headline confirmed it. The plane he was supposed to be on had gone down shortly after takeoff. No survivors reported. Daniel felt his chest tighten. His breathing became shallow. The airport noise around him faded into silence. 5 minutes. That was the difference between sitting in a chair and not existing anymore. Survivor's guilt doesn't wait for permission. Daniel didn't cry right away. He felt numb, disconnected from his own body. He thought about the seat he had chosen, the aisle he preferred, the people who would have been sitting next to him, strangers whose names he would never know, people who woke up that morning just like he did. The hardest part wasn't surviving, it was explaining why he did. Over the next few days, Daniel became the man who missed the flight. Journalists called, people online commented, lucky, blessed, chosen. But Daniel didn't feel lucky. He felt haunted. He replayed the morning over and over again. The red light, the delivery truck, the slow elevator. What if any one of those things had gone differently? Life doesn't come with explanations, only outcomes. Daniel attended the memorial service quietly. He sat in the back. He didn't feel like he belonged there. Families cried for people they loved. Daniel cried for people he almost was. He carried the weight of being spared, a weight no one teaches you how to carry. Something changes when you realize time is fragile. Months passed, than a year. Daniel quit his job, not dramatically, just quietly. He started volunteering, calling his parents more often, saying yes to things he used to postpone. He stopped rushing, stopped assuming tomorrow was guaranteed. 5 minutes had taught him a lesson he never asked for. The smallest moments are often the loudest warnings. Daniel still flies, but every time he steps into an airport, he pauses. He looks at the departure boards, the people rushing, the ones complaining about delays. He never tells them, he never says a word, but inside, he knows something they don't.
Some delays aren't obstacles, they're protection. Daniel doesn't believe everything happens for a reason, but he believes some things happen to stop us from going somewhere we're not meant to be. 5 minutes changed his life. Not because he missed something, but because he stayed. And sometimes, staying is the miracle.